Something you need? Kelgar Iron Fist, of course. It's a wonder you haven't heard of me, considering how I've made my mark up and down the Sword Coast for almost a year. All right, go on and ask them. Well, there's a great deal to tell, especially if we're going with clan history and our accomplishments. But chances are, and I don't blame you, you're just asking about me, personally. So let me give you the short version. I've been traveling the Sword Coast for a year or two, making my trade at villages and towns, and, well, making my trade at taverns as well, but you already had a taste of that at the Weeping Willow. They were in the mood to threaten, but not fully in the mood to start a fight. I think they were expecting me to drop the coin and leave quickly, which just goes to show you they don't know me too well. It's a shame they didn't keep it a friendly fight. Some people have no stomach for using their fists when they have a weapon at hand. Eager to fight? Well, I suppose I am, if you can call it that. I mean, it's all in good fun. Some take pride in craftsmanship, or in hunting, or in haggling for the best price on a blade or other piece of steel. Me, talking with my fists is my art form. Every tavern's an opportunity, I say. There's usually someone who could take a few punches to the gut and groin before they start weeping like a child. Well, I don't know. I enjoy it, I guess. It's a mark of pride to be able to stand tall and take every punch, then give it right back until I'm the only one standing. Most of the time. Only beaten really bad once. But I learned from it, and I'm determined not to let it happen again. Thing is, I'm glad it happened. It was my destiny. Well, you see, I used to win. Almost undefeated. But there was this time in a tavern far from here that I chose a fight that ended up choosing me. It was fate, I tell you. Well, it wasn't much of a fight. You see, there were these skinny-robed humans, barely twigs, that were sitting at the bar when one of our competitions broke out. There were chairs getting smashed, people screaming, tankards being used as clubs. Ah, glorious. Well, everyone was having a good time when I noticed those skinny humans were just sitting there, not even having the decency to pay attention, just nursing waters. Waters! So I asked them, well, shouted really, what in the hells they thought they were doing, ignoring the fine entertainment and then insulting the establishment by not having ale? And maybe I shoved one of them a bit, or tried to break a chair over their skulls, since they were making a point of pretending they didn't hear me. Rude, I tell you. Ah, well, they used me as a bar rag first, and not a single punch I threw even hit them. Oh, they were moving too fast, and plus, I think I was seeing double or triple. After they smashed my face into the bar a few times, they showed me the floor up close. The floor was pretty dirty by that point, by the way. Then, as the final blow, they sent me flying like a drunk hippogriff out the window. Magical it was. So, after I woke up and wiped the blood out of my eyes, and finally found all my teeth, I went back in and thanked them. Best beating I've ever received. They seemed a little taken aback by my friendliness, and it turns out they were part of some order, son something or other, and get this, they devoted their lives to fighting with their fists. Can you imagine? Lifetime devotion to brawling. It's their lives, their craft. They're monks, eh? Crazy water-drinking fools. Hope drinking water isn't what makes them fight like that. Anyway, that life sounded like destiny to me. I mean, those skinny excuses for humans were good, and then they spent their whole lives kicking the hell out of others, training for it. That's when I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life. My purpose was clear. Huh? Of course it is. Well, as far as I could tell once my head stopped ringing. You mean like headbutting someone? I already know how to do that, though sometimes I need to grab them by the beard or collar and yank their head down so I can hit it properly. Oh, is that so? Well, I must have missed that part while they were wiping down the tavern with my face and throwing me through a window. Shows how much you know about it. You didn't see them in action. All right, go on and ask then. Well, there's a great deal to tell, especially if we're going with clan history and our accomplishments. But chances are, and I don't blame you, you're just asking about me, personally. So well, making my trade at taverns as well. All right, go on and ask then. Huh? What about it? Huh? What? You like switching words around? That makes no sense at all. It makes no sense. It's wordplay. Riddles. Well, it just seems like dodging a fight is, well, cowardly, goblin-like. Maybe you're right. It's just an odd thought to get one's arm around and choke, you know? All right, maybe by not fighting and being more open to what's going on in the skull before cracking it, maybe there's some truth in there. Somewhere. I'll try it, but I warn you, if I don't like it, I'm going back to learning the traditional way. All right, go on and ask then. It's no proper dwarf curse, that's for sure. Sounds like something they want to find pretty badly, though, whatever it is. All right, go on and ask then. Huh? Like who? Well, that frail lass is one of the copper elves. Wood elves. They're a stone's throw more tolerable than some of the other kin, but she's still an elf. Their kind stood with the shield dwarves in the north, so I'll stand by her if need be. She needs to comb her hair, though, and put a little meat on that slim belly of hers. You'd think she was trying to be a tavern dancer with a belly like that. Huh, makes my stomach churn. Huh? Not a bad idea. All right, go on and ask then.
Yeah? Something you need? No, and neither should you. You're from West Harbor. Duncan told me what happened. The Gith show up, and you killed them. And you know what? There'd be a lot less misery in the world if everyone followed that simple rule. Either stand up and fight, or be prepared to suffer. There now. Maybe I'm speaking to someone with some sense. There's learning in fighting and killing, and more in fighting for something you believe in. What would have happened if you never fought for anything? Why, you wouldn't have come all this way. Seems to me there's a strength in that, something you can learn from. And so could those fool villagers in Ember. Go ahead, but don't expect any answers. Big, dangerous swamp. Not much else to tell. Lots of battles fought there, lots of corpses lying under the water. Easy to get lost in, but you probably know that from West Harbor, right? Duncan said something about it. Said your village got attacked. Drove you to Neverwinter. Trust me, whatever happened in your village, probably a lot easier to deal with than coming to Neverwinter. But you harbormen, you're a pretty tough bunch. To be driven out of there must have been something pretty scary. Go ahead, but don't expect any answers. Well, It's because tracking and hunting help put things in perspective. Out in the wild, well, the whole predator-prey relationship is a little more honest. Because you can't always find cheap ale in the wilderness or duskwood. That's why. I've been on both sides, prey and predator. And if you think you're a predator, you're usually wrong. You're always someone's prey. Don't know. Maybe someone, maybe no one. But chances are I'll find out someday, unless I find them first. Because you can't always find cheap ale in the wilderness, go ahead, but don't expect any answers. The trial. A Luskan trick, probably still angry with you for driving away their agents in Neverwinter. Yeah, Duncan told me about that too. Duncan sure does. Not a good one for keeping secrets, but he's always quick to call a debt when he wants. Are you seriously asking me, or just making conversation? Because it seems to me a law-abiding fellow like yourself might just be asking for the sake of asking. And trust me, I'll respect you a lot more if you admit it now than hear my advice and ignore it. True enough. I'm not one for following what everyone tells me, either. I think you should skip this whole trial and just try to kill the ambassador. That'll send a nice message to them about what you think of justice. What a surprise. Don't bother asking my advice on matters like that again. You'll just waste both our time. Still, if you don't want to waste time in court, of course, you could always try to bed the ambassador as well. I don't think she's getting it from anywhere else. Failing that, I suppose you could follow the procedures and try to find proof of their claim. But that's only worth it if you can hurt Luskan in the process. But do what you want. I could care less. Go ahead, but don't expect any answers. Luskans, don't give it much thought. Most of them aren't human beings anyway. They usually give up any shred of morality or dignity as part of the toll at the front gate. Because they deserve it? At least in Neverwinter, the soldiers and thieves operate with some shred of purpose or morality. Luskan. It's not even worth hating them. I used to be a soldier for them, and I can rightly say I didn't care much for the work. Their reward system is a double-edged blade. They tried to draft me into rougher and rougher jobs. And then they wanted to make some changes in my life. So I left. And that's it. There's more. There was always more. And that was the problem. Sometimes you realize that the more you do, the less free you get. And I'm someone who likes their space, some room to move. Am I? You know why I'm along. Your uncle called his debt due. And that's that. Go ahead, but don't expect any answers. No. Is it a phrase or a name? Sure doesn't sound like any Sword Coast town I've heard of. That's what those Gith call you, right? I assumed it was some curse like half-wit or dung dweller or something like that. Already have. Now, is that it? Or do you have more to ask?
What's going on? Me? Well, I don't know. I'm me, I guess. No one usually asks, so finding the words is a little hard. Trust me. People usually make up the whole story once they spot the demon blood, if they ask at all. This is so exciting! Wow! Where to begin? Okay, well, I have no idea who my mom or dad was. I was abandoned, but raised by priests who tried to convert me, so I went away for a long time. Yeah, priests of Helm. The Watcher. The Vigilant One. Kind to children. Were they a hard-headed bunch? Really?